Flappy Bird. Ever wonder which mobile game had the world in a chokehold with just a single tap? Let's talk about Flappy Bird, a game that was as simple as it was infuriating. All you had to do was tap the screen to keep a tiny bird flying through a series of pipes. Sounds like a piece of cake, right? Well, it wasn't. This game was the ultimate test of patience and reflexes. The pipes seemed to come out of nowhere, and just when you thought you had it down, one wrong tap would send you crashing down. The frustration was real, and so was the obsession. Players everywhere were hooked, spending hours just to improve their high scores by a few points. One player, who had spent countless hours on this game, remembers the thrill of finally reaching a score of 50. It felt like conquering a mountain. But the game's addictive nature led the creator, Dong Wen, to remove it from the App Store, which only made it more legendary. Phones with the original Flappy Bird installed became rare treasures, sometimes even sold for crazy prices. This little bird left a big mark on the world of mobile gaming. Clash of Clans. Imagine building an entire empire from scratch, defending it from invaders, and leading your troops to victory. That's what Clash of Clans was all about. A game that turned casual players into strategists and warriors. The game wasn't just about building up your base. It was about planning every detail, making sure your defenses were strong and your resources were protected. But the real action? Clan Wars. This feature took the game to a whole new level. Players would form clans with their friends, and together, they'd go to war against other clans. The stakes were high, and so was the pressure. One player remembers how seriously he took these wars. He would message his friends constantly, making sure everyone did their part. Winning wasn't just about the rewards, it was about the pride of leading your clan to victory. And let's not forget the quest for gems, the game's precious currency. Many players, desperate to get ahead, would search the internet for free gem generators, only to end up on sketchy websites that asked for personal information. Of course, these were scams, but the temptation was hard to resist. Clash of Clans wasn't just a game. It was a lifestyle, a community, and for many, an obsession that still continues today. Geometry Dash. What if I told you that a game about a tiny square jumping to the beat of electronic music could make you want to throw your phone across the room? Welcome to the world of Geometry Dash, a rhythm-based platformer that was as addictive as it was challenging. The game had a simple premise. You control a small square, and your goal is to avoid obstacles and reach the end of each level. But here's the catch. The game's levels were designed to match the rhythm of the music, and missing a beat often meant starting over from the beginning. For one player, Geometry Dash became an obsession. He'd play it everywhere, even during dinner with his family, completely focused on beating a particular level that had him stumped. It took him thousands of attempts, but when he finally completed the level, the feeling was pure euphoria. The game's music was a huge part of the experience, with tracks like Stereo Madness and Deadlocked becoming instant classics. Geometry Dash wasn't just a game, it was a test of patience, skill, and determination. And for those who could master it, the rewards were unforgettable. Subway Surfers. Let's take a trip back to a time when dodging trains and collecting coins was the ultimate thrill. Subway Surfers was the game that brought endless runners into the spotlight. And for good reason. You played as Jake, a cool, rebellious kid running away from a cop through an endless train station. But it wasn't just about running. It was about the chase, the excitement of collecting coins and power-ups, and the rush of setting new high scores. One player remembers being completely obsessed with the game. He'd play it all the time, especially during school, maxing out all the upgrades and hitting a high score of 1.2 million. It was a huge achievement, and he couldn't wait to brag about it to his friends. Subway Surfers was more than just a game. It was a way to escape boredom, a way to compete with friends, and a way to feel like a legend. The game's colorful graphics, fast-paced gameplay, and endless challenges kept players coming back for more. And even though it's been years since its release, Subway Surfers still holds a special place in the hearts of those who grew up playing it. Angry Birds. Who would have thought that launching birds at pigs could become a global phenomenon? Angry Birds was the game that took the world by storm, with its simple yet addictive gameplay. The premise was easy to grasp. Use a slingshot to launch different types of birds at structures built by green pigs. But the satisfaction of watching those structures collapse? That was something else. For many players, their first experience with Angry Birds was on a family member's iPad, and it quickly became a favorite. The game was perfect for killing time, but it was also challenging enough to keep players hooked. And then there were the spin-offs, Angry Birds Space, Angry Birds Rio, and of course, Angry Birds Star Wars. The Star Wars version was especially popular, combining the charm of the original game with the iconic characters and powers from the Star Wars universe. For one player, there was nothing more fun than using a bird with Jedi powers to take down a pig in a stormtrooper helmet. Angry Birds wasn't just a game, it was a cultural phenomenon, spawning merchandise, cartoons, and even a movie. It was the game that made slingshots cool again. Temple Run? Imagine running for your life through an ancient temple with a giant demon monkey hot on your heels. That's the intense, heart-pounding experience that Temple Run offered. As one of the first endless runner games, Temple Run set the standard for the genre. The goal was simple: run as far as you can without getting caught, all while collecting coins and avoiding obstacles. But what made the game so engaging was its sense of urgency. One player recalls how he first discovered Temple Run while riding the subway with his mom. He saw a stranger playing the game and couldn't take his eyes off the screen. The game was so captivating that it made him forget everything else around him. Temple Run was more than just a game. It was a thrill ride that kept you on the edge of your seat. And even though many endless runners have come and gone since its release, Temple Run remains a classic, remembered fondly by those who experienced its adrenaline-fueled excitement. Battle Cats. Now let's talk about a game that had players leading an army of cats to conquer the world. Battle Cats. This quirky tower defense game was all about strategy, with players collecting and commanding a variety of cats to defeat enemy forces. But it wasn't just about the gameplay. It was about the thrill of collecting rare and powerful cats through the game's gacha system. For one player, Battle Cats became an obsession. He'd spend hours playing, trying to unlock new cats and build the strongest team possible. The game was so addictive that it was all he could think about, morning, noon, and night. The satisfaction of seeing his cat collection grow was a feeling like no other. Battle Cats wasn't just a game, it was a passion, a way to escape into a world where cats ruled supreme. And for those who played it, the memories of leading their feline army to victory are ones they'll never forget. Dragon City. Ever wanted to breed your own dragons and build the ultimate island paradise? That's what Dragon City was all about. In this game, players could collect and breed different types of dragons, each with their own unique abilities. The goal was to build the coolest island ever, filled with rare and powerful dragons. One player was so into Dragon City that he created a Facebook account just to play the game. He didn't care about messaging people. His focus was entirely on expanding his dragon collection and leveling up his dragons. Back in the day, having a legendary dragon was a huge deal, and this player took great pride in his collection. Nowadays, Dragon City has collaborated with famous YouTubers, introducing new dragons like the Mr. Beast dragon and the Sunday dragon. But for those who played in the early days, the thrill of breeding and battling dragons was something special. Dragon City was more than just a game. It was a community, a place where dragon enthusiasts could come together and share their love for these mythical creatures. Beat the Boss. Finally, let's talk about a game that was all about letting off some steam. Beat the Boss. This game was as simple as it was satisfying. The goal? Use a variety of weapons to beat up the boss, a character who was designed to be as annoying as possible. For many players, Beat the Boss was the perfect way to blow off some steam after a tough day at school. Didn't get picked for the team in gym class? Just fire up Beat the Boss and take out your frustration on the virtual boss. The game offered a wide range of weapons, from simple tools to more creative options, making it a fun and cathartic experience. One player remembers spending hours experimenting with different weapons, finding the most satisfying ways to take down the boss. Beat the Boss wasn't just a game. It was a stress reliever, a way to let out all the little frustrations of the day. And for those who played it, the memories of smashing the boss into pieces are ones they'll always remember.